My precious one, I have been keeping something from you, not to cause you pain, not to make you wait without reason, but because what I have been preparing in your life needed to reach its fullness before I could show it to you. And now, in this moment, as you listen to these words, the time has come for you to see what I have been doing behind the scenes. What I am about to reveal to you is going to fundamentally and permanently change the way you understand your entire life. It will reshape the way you see your past, the way you stand in your present, and the way you walk into your future. This is not a small thing. This is not a minor adjustment. What I am unfolding before you is a complete transformation, a radical shift that will mark a clear line between who you were and who you are becoming. And I need you to pay attention, because every single word I speak to you carries weight and purpose and power. You see, I have been watching you. I know exactly where you are standing right now in your life. I understand the questions that have been circling through your mind, the doubts that have tried to plant themselves in your heart, the weariness that has settled into your bones after carrying so much for so long. I know that there have been moments when you looked at your circumstances and wondered if anything was ever going to change. I know that there have been seasons when you tried so hard, when you gave everything you had, when you pushed through exhaustion and disappointment and confusion, and still the breakthrough seemed so far away. I know what you have been dealing with. The pressure at work, the tension in your relationships, the financial stress that has kept you up when everyone else was resting, the health concerns that have whispered fear into your quietest moments. I have seen all of it. The moments you thought were invisible to everyone, I saw them. The silent struggles you fought behind closed doors, I witnessed every one. The brave face you put on for the world while your heart was breaking on the inside, I saw through it, not to judge you, but to honor you for your strength. Nothing about your current situation has been hidden from me. The weight you carry right now, the uncertainty that wraps around your thoughts, the feeling that you are running out of options. I have been fully aware of every single detail. But here is what you need to understand, and this is absolutely critical. So lean in and receive this with every fiber of your being. While you are focused on the difficulty, while you are trying to figure out how to make it through one more day, while you are wondering if your prayers were even reaching heaven, while you are counting the cost of your obedience and questioning whether faithfulness was worth it, while you were lying awake staring at the ceiling wondering why everything seemed to be falling apart instead of coming together, I was working. I was moving pieces into position. I was aligning circumstances and opening pathways and preparing hearts and shifting atmospheres in ways that you could not perceive with your natural eyes. The delays you experienced were not denials. The closed doors were not rejections. The silence you heard was not absence. Everything that seemed like it was working against you was actually being orchestrated by my hand to bring you to this exact moment. Every closed door was a redirection. Every disappointment was a protection. Every unanswered prayer was actually answered with something better than what you asked for. You just could not see it yet, because the better thing had not arrived yet. But it is arriving now. This very moment where everything is about to shift. I want to empower you with something powerful. I want to place within your spirit a truth so strong that it will carry you through whatever remains between where you are and where I am taking you. And that truth is this: you were built for this. You were designed for transformation. You were created not to remain the same, but to grow, to expand, to rise, to become something greater with every season that passes. The very fact that you are still here, still listening, still believing, still holding on, tells me something about the material I used when I formed you. I did not make you fragile, even though life has sometimes made you feel that way. I did not make you weak, even though there have been seasons where weakness felt like your defining characteristic. I did not create you to break under pressure, even though the pressure you have faced would have broken many others. I made you resilient. I built resilience into the very fibers of your being. I made you adaptable, capable of adjusting to any environment, any circumstance, any challenge that presents itself. I made you strong in ways that you have not yet discovered, in ways that will only become apparent when the situations arise that require exactly those specific strengths. And the transformation that is coming into your life is going to reveal strength in you that you never knew existed. Let me take you on a journey. Let me walk you through what has been happening in the unseen realm of your life, and then let me show you where this path is leading. Because the road you have been traveling has not been random. Every step, every twist, every unexpected turn has been part of a map that I drew long before you took your first breath. And now that map is leading you to a destination that will take your breath away. But before I show you where the path leads, I want you to understand something crucial about the nature of what I do. When I set my hand to transform a life, I do not rush. I do not cut corners. I do not skip steps. And I do not settle for anything less than my very best. The reason I have been so thorough in my work on your life is because what I am preparing you for demands thoroughness. A foundation that is built in haste crumbles under pressure, but a foundation that is built with patience and precision can hold the weight of empires. And what I am building on the foundation of your life is something that will endure not just for your lifetime, but for generations beyond you. So when you look back at the seasons that felt slow, when you remember the periods that felt like nothing was happening, I want you to reframe them. Those were not seasons of stagnation. Those were seasons of deep, invisible, meticulous, purposeful construction. I was laying pipes that will carry blessing to areas of your life you have not even thought about yet. I was pouring concrete in the foundation of your character so that it could support the weight of the influence I'm about to place on you. I was running wiring through the walls of your spiritual house so that when I flip the switch, every room lights up simultaneously. Nothing was wasted. Every single day served a purpose. And now the building is nearly complete, and the grand opening is approaching. I want you to feel the excitement of that, the anticipation, the thrill of knowing that something massive is about to be unveiled, something you have been waiting for, something I have been building for, something that, when finally revealed, will make every season of patience and every moment of trust and every prayer of perseverance worth it 1,000 times over. I also want you to understand something about how I see time, because my perspective on time is very different from yours. You experience time as a series of moments, one following the other, stretching out in a line that often feels unbearably long. You feel every hour of every day, especially the difficult ones. But I see time differently. I see it all at once. I see your past, your present, and your future in a single glance. And from that perspective, the waiting you experienced was not long at all. It was precisely the right amount of time needed to produce precisely the right results. Not one day more than necessary, not one day less. The timing is perfect because I am perfect, and everything I do carries the stamp of my perfection. Think about where you started. Think about the person you were when this journey began. Think about the fears you carried, the limitations you accepted, the small version of yourself that you settled for because you did not know there was anything more. You did not know what I had placed inside you. You did not know the capacity, the potential, the gifting, the anointing that was lying dormant within you, waiting for the right season to be activated. You walked through your days thinking you were ordinary, thinking you were average, thinking that the remarkable things in life were reserved for other people, for people who were smarter or more talented or more connected or more fortunate. But you were wrong about that. You were deeply, fundamentally, beautifully wrong. Because I never create ordinary. Every soul that comes from my hands carries the fingerprint of the extraordinary. And your soul, your specific, unique, irreplaceable soul, carries a destiny that would stagger you if you could see it in its fullness. The journey from where you were to where you are has been one of preparation. Every challenge was a classroom. Every difficulty was a training ground. Every heartbreak was a depth being carved into you that would later be filled with wisdom and compassion and authority. I was not punishing you when life got hard. I was not neglecting you when the answers did not come quickly. I was preparing you. Like a craftsman who spends years working on a single masterpiece, I have been shaping you with patience and precision and love. Every hammer strike, every refinement, every moment in the fire was intentional. And now the masterpiece is emerging. Now the true shape of what I have been creating is becoming visible, and it is breathtaking. Here's a story about how I work, because understanding my methods will help you trust my timing. Think about a river that flows through a canyon. The canyon did not appear in a single moment. It was carved over time, layer by layer, inch by inch, by the persistent flow of water over stone. To a casual observer watching for a single day, nothing seemed to be changing. The stone looked the same in the evening as it did in the morning. But over time, over countless days and seasons, the persistent, faithful, consistent flow of water transformed solid rock into one of the most breathtaking landscapes imaginable. That is how I work in your life. Not with a single dramatic explosion, although those moments will come, but with consistent, faithful, persistent action that transforms the hardest situations into the most beautiful outcomes. The canyon of your testimony is being carved right now, and when people finally see it in its completed form, they will stand in awe not just at its beauty, but at the patience and precision required to create it. You see, I have been doing things in your life that you could not perceive because they were happening at a level deeper than your senses could detect. Changes in the spiritual atmosphere around you, shifts in the hearts of people who will play important roles in your future, rearrangements of circumstances that seemed random at the time, but were actually strategic moves on the chessboard of your destiny. I have been positioning you, setting you up, arranging the conditions for a breakthrough that will seem sudden to the outside world, but that I have been preparing for longer than you know. And that breakthrough is so close now that if you quiet your spirit and listen carefully, you can almost hear it approaching. Like distant thunder that signals the arrival of a storm, the signs of what is coming are already visible to those who have eyes to see. Small signs, subtle shifts, a door that opens unexpectedly, a conversation that sparks something in your spirit, an idea that drops into your mind from nowhere, a sense of anticipation that you cannot explain, a restlessness with the status quo that refuses to be quieted. These are all indicators that something is moving beneath the surface. The earthquake of transformation sends tremors before the main event, and if you pay attention, you will notice that the tremors have already begun. You are about to step into a season unlike anything you have ever experienced. I need you to hear me clearly on this. What is coming is not a slight improvement. It is not a small upgrade. It is not just a little bit better than what you have known. What is coming is a complete reconfiguration of your life. The way you think is going to change. The way you see yourself is going to change. The way others see you is going to change. The opportunities that come to you are going to change. The level of influence you carry is going to change. The depth of your relationships is going to change. The peace in your heart is going to change. The joy in your spirit is going to change. Everything, and I mean everything, is about to be elevated to a level that you have never operated in before. This is what transformation looks like when I am the one orchestrating it. It does not happen in one area while everything else stays the same. When I transform a life, I transform the whole life. And I want you to really grasp the significance of that statement. Most people experience change as isolated incidents. A promotion here, a health improvement there, a relationship restored in one area while another falls apart. But that is human change. That is change limited by human capacity and human perspective. What I am doing is different. What I am doing is holistic. It is comprehensive. It is all-encompassing. I am not improving parts of your life. I am transforming the entirety of it. From the thoughts in your mind to the words on your lips. From the emotions in your heart to the strength in your body. From the relationships you maintain to the opportunities that find you. From your private world to your public presence. Everything. Not one area is being left untouched. I touch every corner, every room, every hidden space. I bring renewal to your mind, restoration to your emotions, healing to your body, order to your finances, depth to your relationships, clarity to your purpose, and power to your calling. I do not do half measures. When I move completely, thoroughly, exhaustively. leaving no stone unturned and no area unaddressed. And I am moving completely in your life, with everything I have and everything I am. Now let me tell you something about the nature of this transformation that I want you to carry with you. It is permanent. This is not a temporary high. This is not an emotional moment that will fade by the time you go about your regular routine. What I am doing in you is foundational. It is structural. It reaches down into the very core of who you are and rebuilds from the inside out. The old patterns that have held you back are being dismantled. The old thought processes that kept you cycling through the same disappointments are being replaced. The old fears that paralyzed you at critical moments are being uprooted. And in their place, I am installing new patterns, new ways of thinking, new operating systems that align with the destiny I have prepared for you. Consider for a moment what it means to have every area of your life touched by my transforming power at the same time. It means that the financial breakthrough will not be undermined by relational failure. It means that the relational healing will not be sabotaged by a confused sense of purpose. It means that the clarity of purpose will not be limited by poor health. It means that every improvement reinforces every other improvement, creating a compound effect that accelerates the transformation beyond what any single change could produce. It is like a symphony where every instrument plays its part perfectly. The strings support the brass amplifies the percussion drives the melody, and together, they create something that no single instrument could ever produce on its own. That is what is happening in your life. Every area of transformation is supporting and amplifying every other area, and the result is going to be something breathtakingly beautiful. You are being upgraded, beloved. And not just slightly, radically, completely, irreversibly. The person you are becoming is someone who walks with a different level of authority, someone who speaks with a different level of confidence, someone who faces challenges with a different level of peace, someone who loves with a different level of depth, someone who worships with a different level of fire, someone who dreams with a different level of boldness. This is who you were always meant to be. The person you are becoming is not a stranger. It is not someone foreign or unfamiliar. It is the truest version of you, the version I always saw when I looked at you, the version I have been cheering for since the day you were conceived, the version that was hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear and disappointment and the opinions of others. Those layers are being peeled away, one by one, with care and tenderness and precision. And with each layer that is removed, more of the real you emerges. More of the light breaks through. More of the beauty becomes visible. And the process is not slowing down. It is accelerating. Because this is your season, and I am determined to complete the unveiling. Let me speak to you about your influence, because this transformation is not just for you. What I am doing in your life is going to create ripples that extend far beyond your immediate circle. You are going to become a reference point for others. People are going to look at your life and see evidence of my power. They are going to see the transformation and be unable to explain it through natural means. They are going to watch you rise from the place where you were stuck, and they are going to be filled with hope for their own situations. Your testimony is going to be powerful, undeniably, irresistibly, unshakably powerful. Not because you will stand on a stage and give speeches, although some of you will do exactly that, and the words you speak from that stage will carry an authority that comes only from lived experience. But the main reason your testimony will be powerful is simpler than that. The change will be so evident, so undeniable, so visible in every aspect of your life that people will not be able to ignore it. They will see it in your face. They will hear it in your voice. They will feel it in your presence, and they will want what you have, because what you have is real, and in a world full of counterfeits, real is irresistible. Your story is being written right now. And this chapter, this specific chapter, is the turning point. This is the chapter that future generations will point to and say, that is where everything changed. That is where the family line was redirected. That is where the cycle of poverty was broken. That is where the pattern of dysfunction was ended. That is where health was restored. That is where purpose was discovered. That is where faith became sight. Your children will know this chapter. They will grow up hearing about it around dinner tables and during long conversations and in moments of family prayer. Your grandchildren will tell this story to their children. The people who come after you will build upon the foundation that is being laid in your life in this season. You are not just being transformed for yourself. You are being transformed for everyone your life will touch. You are being transformed for the person who will hear your testimony and decide to keep going. You are being transformed for the child who will grow up watching you and learn what it looks like to trust God completely. You are being transformed for the friend who will come to you in their darkest moment and find in you a source of hope and wisdom that can only come from someone who has walked through the fire and emerged whole. You are being transformed for a legacy. I want you to understand the weight of what I am saying. Legacy. That word carries more significance than you might realize. When I talk about legacy, I am not talking about material wealth, although that may be part of it. I am talking about the spiritual inheritance that flows from a transformed life. I am talking about the wisdom that you will carry and pass on. I am talking about the faith that will be strengthened in you and then planted in the hearts of those who come after you. I'm talking about the blessing that rests on your life, flowing down through generations like a river that never runs dry. This is what I do when I transform someone. I do not just change their present, I change their future. And I change the future of everyone connected to them. Think about a path through a dense forest. When the first person walks through, they push aside branches, they step over roots, they navigate the obstacles one at a time. It is slow and difficult and exhausting. But with every step they take, they clear the way just a little bit more. And the person who comes behind them finds the path just a little bit easier. And the person after that finds it easier still. And eventually, what started as an impenetrable forest becomes a clear road. That is what you are doing right now. You are cutting a path through the wilderness. You are walking a road that no one in your family has walked before. And yes, it has been hard. Yes, it has been exhausting. Yes, there have been moments when you wanted to turn back, but you kept going. And because you kept going, the path behind you is clearer now. Your children will walk it with more ease. Your grandchildren will run on it, and the generations after them will travel it freely, never knowing how difficult it was for the one who went first. That one is you. You are the trailblazer. You are the path maker. You are the one whose sacrifice is opening doors that will never close again. I am so proud of you. Those words might seem simple, but I want you to feel the depth behind them. I am genuinely, deeply, overwhelmingly proud of the person you are and the person you are becoming. I am proud of you for not giving up when everything in you wanted to quit. I am proud of you for choosing faith when doubt seemed like the easier option. I am proud of you for getting up one more time after being knocked down one more time. I am proud of you for praying when you were not even sure anyone was listening. I am proud of you for opening your heart to these words even after your heart has been wounded so many times before. Your resilience moves me. Your determination inspires me. Your willingness to keep believing in the face of evidence that seemed to suggest otherwise shows me that the seed I planted in you is alive and growing and producing fruit even in the hardest soil. And I want to go even deeper into this. I want you to understand something that most people never grasp about their relationship with me. My pride in you is not based on your success. It is based on your faithfulness. The world measures people by their results, by their achievements, by their visible accomplishments. But I measure differently. I measure by what it cost you to keep going. I measure by the gap between how hard it was and the fact that you did not quit. I measure by the quality of your heart, not the quantity of your wins. And by my measurement, you are extraordinary. Not because everything went right for you, but because you stayed right even when everything went wrong. There were moments in your life that no one saw. Moments when you were completely alone, completely overwhelmed, completely convinced that it was over. And in those moments, something in you refused to let go. Something in you kept reaching for me even when you could not feel me. Something in you kept whispering, "I still believe." even when every rational part of your mind said believing was foolish. That something is the seed of my spirit within you, and it has been growing in the dark soil of your hardship, putting down roots in the hidden places, preparing for the moment when it would finally break through the surface and become visible. That moment has arrived. The seed is breaking through, and what is about to emerge from the soil of your life is going to astound you and everyone who witnesses it. I remember the nights you spent in prayer. I remember the mornings you dragged yourself out of exhaustion and chose to face another day. I remember the conversations where you held your tongue when everything in you wanted to lash out. I remember the sacrifices you made for others that no one ever acknowledged. I remember the times you gave when you barely had enough for yourself. I remember the forgiveness you extended to people who did not deserve it and did not even appreciate it. I remember every act of obedience, every quiet moment of trust, every unseen expression of faith. And I have been keeping a record, not to hold over you, but to honor you, because in due time, every hidden thing will be revealed, and the hidden faithfulness of your life is about to be rewarded publicly in ways that will make up for every unrecognized sacrifice you ever made. Now listen carefully, because I want to take this deeper. There is so much more I want to share with you, and I need your full attention for what comes next. What I have told you so far is the overview, the big picture, the 30,000-foot view of what is happening. But I want to bring you closer. I want to show you the details, the specific, personal, intimate details of how this transformation is going to play out in the real, everyday, practical reality of your life. Because I know that you do not live at 30,000 feet. You live on the ground. You live in the details. You live in the daily decisions and the hourly challenges and the moment-by-moment choices that make up the fabric of your existence. And I want you to know that my transformation touches all of it. Not just the big moments, not just the dramatic turning points, every single detail. The transformation I am bringing into your life operates on multiple levels simultaneously. Let me walk you through them so you can understand the full scope of what is happening. The first level is the transformation of your mind. The way you think is being renewed. Old belief systems that kept you trapped in cycles of defeat are being replaced with truth. Where you once thought, "I am not good enough," you are beginning to understand that my grace is what makes you enough. Where you once believed, "Nothing good ever happens to me," you are starting to see that I have been weaving good into your story all along, even in the chapters that felt dark. Where you once assumed, "I am too far gone for God to use," you are discovering that I specialize in using the ones the world has written off. Your mind is being transformed, and when the mind is transformed, everything else follows. Because what you think determines what you believe, and what you believe determines how you act, and how you act determines what you become. I am changing you from the inside out, starting with the very thoughts that shape your reality. This mental transformation is not just about positive thinking. It goes much deeper than that. It is about rewiring the core narratives that run your life. The story you tell yourself about who you are. The story you tell yourself about what you deserve. The story you tell yourself about what is possible. These narratives were formed over years, sometimes decades, of experience, and they operate below the level of conscious awareness. You do not even realize they are running most of the time. They are like the operating system of a computer, invisible but controlling everything that happens on the screen. And I am updating that operating system. I am replacing the old code with new code. Code that says you are worthy. Code that says you are capable. Code that says the future holds good things for you. Code that says I am working on your behalf even when you cannot see it. This new operating system is already being installed. You can feel it happening. The moments when you catch yourself thinking a negative thought and immediately recognize it as a lie rather than truth, that is the new operating system at work. The moments when you feel hope rising in your chest despite your circumstances giving you every reason to despair, that is the new operating system at work. The moments when you choose to pray instead of panic, trust instead of worry, speak life instead of death. Those are all signs that the upgrade is taking effect. This new operating system will change the output of your life dramatically, because when the core narratives change, the behaviors change. When the behaviors change, the results change. And when the results change, the entire trajectory of your life bends toward the destiny I have prepared. The second level is the transformation of your heart. The emotional wounds that have been festering beneath the surface, the ones you thought you had dealt with, the ones you tried to bury, the ones you hoped would just go away with time. I am reaching into those deep places now and bringing healing. Not surface healing, not temporary relief. I am talking about the kind of healing that reaches the root, the kind that addresses not just the symptoms, but the source. The rejection you experienced as a child, I am healing it. The betrayal that shattered your ability to trust, I am restoring it. The loss that left a hole so deep you thought nothing could ever fill it, I am filling it with my love. The shame that has been your constant companion, I am removing it so completely that you will forget it was ever there. Your heart is being made new. And a new heart produces new emotions, new responses, new capacity for love, new ability to receive love, and a new freedom to live without the constant weight of unresolved pain. Picture what life looks like when emotional healing is complete. When the trigger that used to send you into a spiral no longer has power over you. When the memory that used to bring tears no longer stings. When the person who hurt you can be thought of without bitterness, not because what they did was acceptable, but because the wound has been so thoroughly healed that it no longer controls your emotional state. When you can receive a compliment without deflecting it. When you can accept love without suspecting ulterior motives. When you can trust again without requiring a guarantee. When you can be vulnerable again without feeling like you are handing someone a loaded weapon. That is what complete emotional healing looks like. And that is what I am working toward in your life. Not partial healing that manages the symptoms while the wound festers underneath. Complete healing that addresses every layer, every root, every hidden corner of pain. And the result will be an emotional freedom that you have never experienced in your entire life. A lightness in your chest, a clearness in your mind, a warmth in your spirit. A capacity for joy that has been blocked by pain for longer than you can remember. The third level is the transformation of your circumstances. Yes, the inner transformation is the most important, but I am a God who cares about every aspect of your life, including the practical, tangible, visible elements. The financial situation that has caused you so much stress is about to shift. I am not just talking about getting by. I am talking about abundance. I am talking about provision that exceeds your needs and overflows into generosity. I am talking about wisdom with resources that creates lasting stability, not just temporary relief. The career situation that has felt stagnant or frustrating or uncertain is about to be redirected. New doors are opening. New connections are being arranged. New opportunities are being positioned in your path that align perfectly with the gifts and talents and passions I placed in you. Your health is coming under my direct attention. The concerns that have plagued your body, the symptoms that have caused anxiety, the conditions that have limited your quality of life, I am bringing restoration, not halfway restoration. Complete restoration that glorifies my name and demonstrates my power. The fourth level is the transformation of your relationships. And this one might surprise you the most, because relationships are complex and deeply personal, and they touch every other area of your life. A person can have financial abundance and professional success and excellent health and still be miserable if their relationships are broken. Because we were not designed for isolation, we were designed for connection. Deep, meaningful, soul-nourishing connection. And when that connection is absent or damaged or counterfeit, everything else loses its flavor. The best meal tastes bland when eaten alone. The greatest achievement feels hollow when there is no one to share it with. The most beautiful house becomes a prison when the people inside it do not communicate, do not connect, do not truly know each other. I understand this about you because I am relational at my very core. Everything I do is motivated by relationship. Creation itself was an act of relationship, my desire to create beings I could love and who could choose to love me in return. The connections in your life are about to be realigned. Some relationships that have been draining you, holding you back, pulling you down are going to naturally shift. Not through conflict or drama, but through the simple reality that when you change, the dynamics around you change too. And new relationships are going to enter your life. People who carry the right spirit, who share the right values, who speak the right words, who challenge you to grow rather than settle. I am bringing divine connections into your life. People who will walk beside you on this new path. People who will celebrate your victories without jealousy. People who will support your vision without trying to redirect it. People who carry their own transformation and understand the language of change. Your relational world is about to become healthier, deeper, more authentic, and more aligned with the direction I am taking you. And let me add this. The quality of your relationships in this new season is going to directly correlate with the quality of your transformation. As you become healthier emotionally, you attract healthier relationships. As you become more secure in your identity, you stop tolerating relationships that undermine it. As you gain clarity about your purpose, you naturally gravitate toward people who share or support that purpose. The transformation of your relationships is not a separate project from the transformation of yourself. They are deeply intertwined. Change yourself, and your relational world changes with you. It is one of the most beautiful and reliable principles in my kingdom. The fifth level, and perhaps the one that ties all the others together, is the transformation of your purpose. This is the golden thread that runs through everything else I have been telling you. Without purpose, financial abundance is just accumulation. Without purpose, healthy relationships are just pleasant company. Without purpose, a strong body is just physical fitness. Purpose is what gives meaning to every other blessing. It is the why behind everything else. And for too long, your why has been unclear. Up until now, you may have been living with a vague sense that you were meant for something more, but you could not quite define what that something was. That fog is lifting. Clarity is coming. The purpose I embedded in your DNA when I formed you is about to become crystal clear. You are going to wake up with a sense of direction that you have never had before. You are going to understand why you went through what you went through. You are going to see how every experience, even the painful ones, was preparation for the assignment I am now placing in your hands. Your purpose is not generic. It is not vague. It is specific, personal, tailored to who you are. And it is going to bring you a level of fulfillment that no amount of money or success or recognition could ever produce. When you walk in your purpose, something clicks into place in your soul. Something that has been off balance for years suddenly aligns. And that alignment, that sense of rightness, that deep knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, that is coming for you. It is closer than you think. And when it arrives, it will feel like finally coming home after a long, long journey through unfamiliar territory. Everything will make sense. The struggles, the detours, the delays, the confusing seasons, all of it will suddenly fit into a coherent narrative that points to this moment of purpose fulfilled. And you will weep. Not tears of sorrow, but tears of recognition, tears of gratitude, tears of a soul that finally understands why it was created and is finally free to do what it was designed to do. But here is where everything changes. Everything I have shared with you so far has been about what is happening and what is coming. Now let me show you the magnitude of the shift. Because I have not been talking about gradual progress. I have not been describing a slow, steady climb. What I have been building toward is a moment of acceleration. A moment when everything that has been developing in secret suddenly becomes visible. A moment when the pressure that has been building finally breaks through the surface. And that moment is approaching faster than you think. I want you to imagine a river that has been blocked by a dam. For a long time, the water has been building up behind that dam, rising higher and higher, gaining more and more force, more and more power. The dam held for a while. It seemed solid. It seemed permanent. It seemed like it would never break, but the water kept rising. The pressure kept building. And now, cracks are forming. Small ones at first, barely visible, but they are spreading. And when that dam breaks, and it will break, the force of what has been held back will be unleashed with a power that nothing can resist. That is your life right now. The dam is cracking. The breakthrough is imminent. And when it comes, it will not be a trickle. It will be a flood of blessing, a flood of change, a flood of restoration, a flood of everything you have been praying for and hoping for and believing for. I am the God who makes all things new. Let the weight of that statement land on you. The God who spoke galaxies into existence, who flung stars across the cosmos like seeds in a field, who designed the molecular structure of every living thing with a precision that makes the greatest human achievements look crude by comparison, that God is focused on making things new in your life. The scope of my power is universal, but the application of my love is personal. I do not deal in generalities when it comes to my children. I deal in specifics. Your specific situation, your specific needs, your specific pain, your specific potential, your specific destiny. What I am doing in your life is not a mass production. It is a custom creation, handcrafted with the same care and intentionality that I used when I made the heavens. That is not just a statement of theology. It is a statement of my nature, my character, and my intention for your life specifically. I do not renovate. I do not patch. I do not apply temporary fixes to permanent problems. I make things new, completely, thoroughly, radically new. And right now, in your life, I am engaged in the most comprehensive act of renewal you have ever experienced. I am touching every area simultaneously. I am moving on every front at once. And the cumulative effect is going to be nothing short of historic. Yes, historic. I use that word intentionally. What is about to happen in your life will be remembered. It will be talked about. It will be pointed to as evidence of what happens when a human being surrenders fully to my plan. Your transformation is going to become a landmark, a reference point, a before and after moment that divides your life into two distinct chapters. And when people ask you what happened, when they want to know how you went from where you were to where you are, you will not be able to take the credit. Because what I am doing is so clearly supernatural, so obviously beyond human capability, that the only explanation will be my hand upon your life. Let me tell you what historic transformation looks like in practical terms, because I want this to be real for you, not abstract, not theoretical, not some feel-good concept that sounds nice but never materializes. When I talk about historic change, I am talking about the kind of shift that makes people stop and stare. The kind of change that makes your co-workers whisper to each other. Something is different about that person. The kind of transformation that makes old friends who have not seen you in a while do a double take because the person standing before them is so different from the person they remember. I'm talking about the kind of change that is visible in your eyes, your posture, your voice, your confidence, your peace, your joy, your energy. It radiates. It cannot be hidden. It cannot be faked. It cannot be manufactured by self-help books or motivational speakers or positive affirmations. It can only come from one source, and that source is me. I want to talk to you about your testimony, because what I am creating in your life is not just a personal blessing. It is a weapon against despair. It is a tool for hope. It is evidence in a world that desperately needs evidence. When you share your story, and you will share it, people who have given up will start believing again. People who have been sitting in darkness will see a light. People who have been told that their situation is permanent will hear about yours and realize that change is possible. Your testimony is going to save lives. I want you to hear the gravity of what I am saying. Not metaphorically, not in some abstract spiritual sense, literally. Someone who is considering giving up is going to hear about what happened in your life, and they are going to choose to hold on for one more day. And that one more day is going to be the day their own breakthrough arrives. You do not even know yet how many people are connected to your transformation. But I do. And the number would astonish you. Let me give you a picture of the scope of what I am doing. Imagine a stone dropped into a still pond. The stone hits the water, and ripples begin to spread. The first circle of ripples touches what is immediately around the point of impact. That is your personal life, your immediate circumstances, the things that directly affect you every day. But the ripples do not stop there. They keep spreading. The second circle reaches your family, your spouse, your children, your parents, your siblings. The change in you changes the atmosphere in your home. The peace you carry becomes peace in your household. The wisdom you gain becomes guidance for your loved ones. The faith you demonstrate becomes the foundation for their faith. But the ripples keep going. The third circle reaches your community, your neighborhood, your workplace, your church, the places where you interact with people on a regular basis. They start noticing the change. They start being affected by it. Your words carry more weight. Your presence brings more comfort. Your example speaks louder than any sermon. The fourth circle reaches your city. People you have never met start being impacted by decisions you make, by prayers you pray, by the influence that flows from your transformed life. The fifth circle reaches beyond anything you can see. Future generations, distant connections, strangers whose paths will one day cross yours, all of them affected by what I am doing in you right now. Think about that for a moment. The transformation is not limited to the stone that hits the water. It extends outward, reaching places and people that were not even near the point of impact. Your transformation affects people you will never meet in this lifetime. It influences situations you will never know about. It creates possibilities for others that would not exist without the ripple your change generates. You are not just being changed. You are becoming a catalyst for change. A living demonstration of what is possible when someone opens their heart fully to my transforming power. And this brings me to something I want you to hold on to tightly. The scope of what I am doing through you is bigger than you. It always has been. From the very beginning, my plan for your life was never just about you. It was about the hundreds, the thousands, potentially the millions of lives that would be touched through yours. You are a conduit. You are a carrier. You are a vessel through which my love and power flow into a world that desperately needs both. And the transformation you are experiencing is expanding your capacity to carry more, to flow more, to channel more of what I want to pour into this world through willing hearts. This is not exaggeration. This is the reality of how I work. I do not transform lives in isolation. Every transformation I perform creates a cascade of change, a chain reaction of blessing, a domino effect of goodness that extends far beyond the individual. And your transformation, the one that is happening right now, is going to create ripples that you will still be discovering years from now. Now, I want to speak directly to some specific areas of your life, because I know that transformation in general sounds wonderful, but you need to know that I see the specific details of your situation. I see the particular challenges you face. I see the unique configuration of your circumstances. And my plan is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is custom designed for you, tailored to your exact needs, calibrated to address every single concern that keeps you up when you should be resting. Some of you are carrying financial pressure that has felt unbearable. You have been stretching every resource, making impossible calculations, robbing from one area to cover another, living in a constant state of financial anxiety. I see that. And I want you to know that the transformation I am bringing includes complete financial restructuring. Not just enough to survive, enough to thrive, enough to be generous, enough to invest in the future, enough to breathe without the constant tightness in your chest that comes from wondering how you will make it through another cycle. I am opening doors of provision that you did not even know existed. I am connecting you with opportunities that perfectly match your skills and your calling. I am releasing a spirit of wisdom over your finances that will transform not just how much you have, but how you manage what you have. Financial freedom is coming, and it is coming as part of the complete transformation of your life. I want to expand on this financial transformation because I know it weighs heavily on many of you. The stress of financial lack does not stay in one compartment of your life. It bleeds into everything. It affects your sleep. It affects your relationships. It affects your self-esteem. It affects your ability to dream. When you are constantly worried about money, every other area of your life operates under a shadow. And I see that shadow. I see how it has darkened your perspective and limited your expectations. But I want you to know that the financial restructuring I am bringing is not just about numbers in a bank account. It is about removing the shadow. It is about giving you the freedom to think about more than just survival. It is about opening up the mental and emotional space that has been consumed by financial worry and filling it instead with creativity, with vision, with generosity, with peace. When the financial pressure lifts, and it will lift, you are going to be amazed at how many other areas of your life suddenly improve as a result. The financial transformation is a keystone. When it shifts, everything else shifts with it. There are people hearing these words right now who are dealing with health issues that have stolen their peace and limited their ability to live fully. Maybe it is a diagnosis that shook you to your core. Maybe it is chronic pain that has become your constant companion. Maybe it is mental health struggles that have made every day feel like a battle just to get through. I see that too. And I am speaking restoration over your body, your mind, and your spirit. I am the God who heals, and my healing power is not limited by medical reports or statistical probabilities or the opinions of experts. I work beyond the natural. I move beyond what science can explain. And in your life, I am bringing healing that will leave those around you in wonder. Complete healing. Not partial healing that manages the condition. Not temporary relief that requires constant maintenance. Complete healing that restores function, that renews vitality, that returns to you the quality of life that illness stole. I want to expand on the health transformation for a moment, because I know how deeply health issues affect every other area of life. When your body is in pain, it is difficult to focus on anything else. When your mind is clouded by anxiety or depression, the whole world looks different. When your energy is depleted by a condition you cannot control, the simplest tasks feel like climbing mountains. I understand the frustration of health limitations. I understand the anger that comes from watching your body fail you. I understand the fear that accompanies every new symptom, every test result, every conversation with a medical professional. And I want you to know that I am not just aware of your health situation. I am actively engaged in transforming it. I am working at the cellular level, at the molecular level, at the spiritual level that governs the physical. My healing power does not operate within the constraints of medical knowledge. It operates at the level of creation itself, the same power that spoke the universe into existence, the same power that formed your body from nothing, the same power that hung the stars in their places and set the boundaries of the oceans and breathed life into lifeless dust. That power, in all its magnitude and majesty, is directed at your situation right now, not as a last resort, not as a backup plan, as the primary, most effective, most comprehensive intervention available. Trust me with your health, bring it to me daily, and watch as restoration unfolds in ways that exceed everything you have been told is possible. Deep relational pain is another reality I see clearly. A marriage that has grown cold and distant, a friendship that was betrayed, a family member who has become a stranger, a child who has wandered far from everything you taught them. The loneliness that comes from being surrounded by people but feeling truly known by none of them. I understand that pain intimately, because relationships are at the very core of who I am, and I am working in this area of your life with particular tenderness and precision. I am softening hearts that have hardened. I am rebuilding bridges that were burned. I am creating new connections that will fill the voids left by old losses. And for those relationships that cannot be restored, and I know how painful it is to even consider that some relationships may not come back the way they were, I am healing your heart so completely that the absence no longer defines you. The hole that was left by that relationship is being filled not with another person, because no person can fill the exact space left by another, but with a wholeness that comes from me. A wholeness that does not depend on any human being to sustain it. A wholeness that means you can stand on your own 2 feet, anchored in my love, and not be destroyed by the loss of someone else's presence in your life. That is freedom. That is healing. And that is what I am bringing you. Some of you are struggling with a sense of purposelessness. You go through the motions every day, doing what needs to be done, meeting your obligations, fulfilling your responsibilities, but there is a hollowness at the center of it all, a nagging question that will not go away. Is this all there is? Is this what my life amounts to? Am I just going to keep doing this until I cannot do it anymore? I hear that question, and I want to answer it directly. No, this is not all there is. There is so much more. And the transformation I am bringing is going to unveil the more that your heart has been craving. Your purpose is about to become clear. Your calling is about to become undeniable. The thing you were put on this earth to do is about to step out of the shadows and into the light. And when it does, every day will carry a significance that transforms the mundane into the magnificent. Even the smallest tasks will take on new meaning when you understand how they connect to the larger picture of your purpose. Washing dishes becomes an act of service. Driving to work becomes a commute toward destiny. A conversation with a stranger becomes a potential divine appointment. When purpose fills your life, nothing is wasted, nothing is trivial, nothing is meaningless. Everything becomes part of the beautiful tapestry that I am weaving through you. And the fulfillment that comes from living on purpose, living with intention, living in alignment with my design for you, is the deepest, most satisfying feeling a human being can experience this side of eternity. The weight of regret is something many of you know intimately. Decisions you made that you wish you could take back. Words you spoke that you wish you could unsay. Opportunities you missed that you wish you could reclaim. Time you wasted that you wish you could recover. That regret has been eating at you from the inside, stealing your joy, poisoning your peace, and convincing you that your best days are behind you. But I need you to hear me on this. Your best days are not behind you. They are not. They are ahead of you. Because I am the God of redemption, and there is nothing in your past that is beyond my ability to redeem. The mistakes you made, I am weaving them into a story of grace. The time you lost, I am redeeming it with accelerated blessing. The opportunities you missed, I am replacing them with better ones. Your past does not disqualify you from your future. Not in my economy. In my economy, the things that should have destroyed you become the very platforms from which your greatest victories are launched. I need you to release the regret. I mean it. Really release it. Not just push it down to deal with later. Not just distract yourself from it temporarily. I mean open the clenched fist of your heart and let it fall away from you like leaves from a tree in autumn. Like stones that have been weighing down your pockets on a long march. Like chains that have been wrapped around your ankles, slowing every step you take. Let them fall. Every single one of them. The decision you made 10 years ago that you still replay in your mind. Release it. The relationship you should have ended sooner or fought harder for. Release it. The career path you should have taken. Release it. The words you should have said or should not have said. Release it. The year you wasted. The opportunity you missed. The trust you broke. The love you lost. Release it all. I am not asking you to forget. I am asking you to forgive. Forgive yourself the way I have already forgiven you. Completely, thoroughly, without reservation. The ledger is clean in my eyes. The debt has been paid. The account has been settled. And I need your internal accounting to match my external declaration. You are free from the past. Not because the past did not happen, but because I have the power to redeem it so completely that its hold over you is broken forever. Let it go. Open your hands and let it fall away from you. It has served no useful purpose. It has only weighed you down and kept you looking backward when I am calling you forward. Your journey is ahead of you, not behind you. The path stretches out before you, wide and full of promise, and I am asking you to walk it with your eyes fixed on what is coming, not on what has been. Let me talk to you about faith, because faith is the engine that powers transformation. It is not enough for me to declare that change is coming. You must believe it. You must receive it. You must position your heart to accept it. And I know that faith has not been easy for you lately. I know that there have been times when you prayed and the answer did not come, and you wondered if prayer even works. I know that there have been times when you stepped out in faith and fell, and wondered if faith was just foolishness dressed up in religious language. I know that there have been times when your faith felt as thin as paper, and you were terrified that the next storm would tear it apart completely. But here's what I want you to see. Your faith is stronger than you think it is. The very fact that you are here, listening to these words, engaging with this message, opening your heart to the possibility that I am speaking directly to you, that is faith. Maybe it does not feel like much to you. Maybe it feels weak and uncertain and fragile. But from where I sit, it looks like a flame that has survived every wind that tried to extinguish it. And I can work with a flame. Give me a flame, and I will turn it into a fire. Give me a spark, and I will ignite a blaze. Your faith does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be present. And it is present. I can see it. I can feel it. And I am about to reward it in ways that will strengthen it beyond anything you have experienced before. Faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is the choice to trust me in the presence of doubt. Faith is not feeling confident about the future. Faith is choosing to walk into the future with me, even when you feel anything but confident. Faith is not pretending that the problems do not exist. Faith is acknowledging the problems and then lifting your eyes above them to see me standing there, bigger than every problem, stronger than every obstacle, wiser than every challenge. And your faith, imperfect as it may feel to you, is beautiful to me. It is precious, it is powerful, and it is about to produce a harvest that will astound you. Let me explain what I mean by the harvest of faith. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not see results immediately. He waters the ground. He waits. He tends the soil. Day after day, he looks at the same patch of dirt and sees nothing. If he judged by appearances, he would conclude that the seed was dead, that his effort was wasted, that planting was a mistake. But the farmer knows something that appearances cannot tell him. He knows that beneath the surface, the seed is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is splitting open. It is sending roots downward. It is pushing a sprout upward. And one day, without warning, a green shoot breaks through the soil, and the farmer knows that everything he believed was true. The waiting was not wasted. The seed was not dead. The effort was not in vain. That is your life right now. You have been the farmer staring at dirt, wondering if anything was happening. And I am telling you, the green shoot is about to break through. Not because you did everything perfectly. Not because your faith was flawless, but because the seed I planted in you was designed to produce a harvest, and nothing in heaven or earth can stop a seed from fulfilling its design. Your harvest is coming, and it is going to be abundant beyond your calculations. 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold return on every prayer you prayed, every tear you cried, every act of faith you performed in the dark. The harvest is coming, and when it arrives, it will take your breath away with its abundance. More than you planted, more than you prayed for, more than you dared to hope for. Because I am not a stingy God. I am an extravagant God. A God who does not just meet needs, but overflows cups and opens floodgates of goodness so wide that there is not room enough to contain everything that pours through. Now let me shift the rhythm of what I am saying to you, because what comes next requires a different level of attention. I have been building towards something. Everything I have shared with you has been laying a foundation, and now I want to place something on that foundation that will change the trajectory of your life. Here is the truth that I need to deposit in the deepest part of your being. You are not just changing, you are being made new. There is a difference. Change implies modification of something existing. Newness implies creation of something entirely different. I am not modifying your life. I am creating something entirely new. The old version of your story is being completed, and a new volume is being opened. Fresh pages, clean chapters. No baggage from the previous book spilling over into this one. Every limitation, every label, every definition that was placed on you by others or by yourself is being removed. And in its place, I am writing a new identity, a new narrative, a new destiny that bears my signature and carries my approval. You are being made new. Say that to yourself. Whisper it if you need to. Shout it if you want to. But let those words come out of your mouth, because there is power in declaration. When you speak what I am doing over your life, you are aligning your words with my will. And that alignment creates an atmosphere where transformation accelerates. You are being made new. Say it again. Let it settle into every corner of your mind and heart. You are being made new. The person you used to be, with all of their struggles and weaknesses and failures, that person is being transformed. Not destroyed. Transformed. Because I do not waste anything. The experiences of your old self become the raw material for your new self. The pain becomes wisdom. The failure becomes humility. The weakness becomes a place where my strength is displayed. Nothing is lost. Everything is redeemed. Everything is repurposed. Everything finds its place in the masterpiece I am creating. What I am doing in your life right now will be talked about. It will become a story that others tell when they need to believe that change is possible. Your before and after will be so dramatic, so undeniable, so clearly the work of my hand, that it will silence every skeptic and inspire every believer. People who knew you in your old season will be amazed. People who meet you in your new season will be inspired. And you yourself will look in the mirror one day and barely recognize the person looking back at you, not because you have changed physically, although even that may happen, but because the light in your eyes, the confidence in your posture, the peace on your face, and the joy in your spirit will be so radically different that it will feel like looking at a completely different person. This is what I do. This is who I am. I take the broken and make it beautiful. I take the weak and make it strong. I take the lost and give it direction. I take the empty and fill it to overflowing. I take the forgotten and make it unforgettable. I take the wounded and make it whole. I take the story that everyone else gave up on and write the most incredible chapter yet. And I am doing all of this in your life right now. Simultaneously, comprehensively, with the full force of my love and the complete arsenal of my power. I have not been this active in your life since the day I created you. Something monumental is happening, something that the spiritual realm is taking notice of, something that the enemy is desperately trying to prevent but cannot, because my will supersedes every other will in existence. What I have decided to do in your life is final, and it is beautiful beyond description. I know there is a voice in your head that has been trying to talk you out of believing this, a voice that says you have heard promises before that never came true. A voice that says you are too damaged, too far gone, too old, too broken for real transformation. A voice that says this message is for other people, not for you. I want you to recognize that voice for what it is. It is the voice of deception, a whisper designed to keep you small, to keep you stuck, to keep you cycling through the same patterns of defeat that have marked your past. That voice knows that if you ever fully embrace who you are becoming, its influence over your life is finished. It is afraid of your transformation. It is terrified of what you are about to step into, and its only weapon is to convince you that it is not real, that it will not happen, that you do not deserve it, that you should not even hope for it. But I need you to understand something about that voice. It is loudest right before the breakthrough. It screams the hardest when it senses that its time is almost up. The very intensity of the doubt you are feeling right now is actually evidence that something significant is about to happen. If nothing was changing, if no transformation was underway, if no breakthrough was approaching, the voice of deception would not bother with you. It targets those who are on the verge of something great. It concentrates its fire on those who are about to step into their destiny. And the fact that it has been so active in your mind recently tells me everything I need to know. You are close, closer than you realize, and the resistance you are feeling is the last desperate attempt to keep you from crossing the threshold into everything I have prepared. But that voice has no authority over you, none. It has no power to stop what I have set in motion. It has no ability to reverse what I have already begun. It can whisper all it wants, but my voice is louder, my plans are stronger, and my love for you is fiercer than any lie that has ever been spoken over your life. And right now, I am drowning out every false whisper with the thundering truth of who you really are and what is really coming for you. The old patterns of thinking that have kept you trapped are being broken in this very moment. The negative self-talk that has been your inner soundtrack for years is being replaced. The automatic assumption of the worst is being rewired. The habit of rehearsing past failures instead of anticipating future victories is being shattered. I am renewing your mind. I am giving you a new way of seeing yourself, your circumstances, and your future. And this new perspective is going to change everything. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you have been walking down a road for years. It is the only road you know. It is dusty and difficult and lined with thorns and stones. You have grown so accustomed to it that you cannot imagine any other road existing. This dusty, painful path feels like the only option. But then imagine that I take your hand and lead you around a bend you never noticed before. And suddenly, the landscape changes completely. The dust gives way to soft grass. The thorns give way to flowers. The stones give way to smooth ground. And the road ahead of you is wide and beautiful, and stretching toward a horizon so bright it makes your eyes water. That is what is happening right now. At this very moment, as you absorb these words, as you feel them settling into the deepest parts of your spirit, I am leading you around the bend. I am guiding your footsteps toward a vista that will change your entire perspective. I am showing you a road you never knew existed, and once you see it, once you set foot on it, you will never want to go back to the old one. I want to tell you something else about this new road. It is not just different in appearance, it is different in nature. The old road was one you walked alone, relying on your own strength, your own wisdom, your own resources. But this new road is one you walk with me, shoulder to shoulder, step by step. My guidance informing every decision, my strength supplementing every effort, my wisdom illuminating every choice. You were never meant to navigate life by yourself. You were never designed to figure it all out on your own. And one of the most beautiful aspects of this transformation is that you are finally learning what it means to walk in partnership with me. Not as a distant deity you acknowledge on special occasions, but as a constant companion who is intimately involved in every detail of your daily life. This partnership changes everything. It changes how you make decisions, because you have access to infinite wisdom. It changes how you face challenges, because you have access to unlimited power. It changes how you love people, because you have access to boundless compassion. And it changes how you view yourself, because you are no longer just you. You are you plus me. And together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. The transformation is not something you have to manufacture. It is not something you have to earn. It is not something you have to figure out on your own. It is something I am doing. Your job is not to create the transformation. Your job is to receive it, to position yourself to receive it, to open your hands, open your heart, and open your mind to the reality that I, the creator of heaven and earth, am doing something unprecedented in your life. Your job is to trust the process, to trust me when things do not make sense, to trust me when the path takes an unexpected turn, to trust me when the timeline does not match your expectations. Because my timing is perfect, and what I am building cannot be rushed without compromising its integrity. There is a reason I have not moved faster. There is a reason the transformation did not happen in a previous season or the one before that. It is because the foundation had to be laid properly. The soil had to be prepared thoroughly. Your character had to be developed sufficiently. Your faith had to be tested adequately. Your heart had to be softened completely. If I had brought the fullness of what I am releasing now into your life even one season earlier, you would not have been ready to steward it. The blessing would have overwhelmed you. The influence would have corrupted you. The success would have destroyed you. But now, after everything you have been through, after every test and every trial and every fire, you are ready. Your character can handle what is coming. Your faith can sustain what is coming. Your heart can steward what is coming. You are ready. And here is something else I want you to understand about the timing. The delay was not wasted time. Every single day of waiting produced something in you that could not have been produced any other way. Patience, endurance, humility, dependence on me, compassion for others, depth of character, wisdom born of experience. These qualities cannot be downloaded instantly. They cannot be purchased. They cannot be shortcut. They can only be forged in the furnace of time and pressure and trust, and you now carry them. They are part of your transformed identity, and they are the very qualities that will enable you to handle the magnitude of what is about to unfold. I want to take a moment to speak about the people around you, because transformation does not happen in a vacuum. The people in your life are going to react to your change in different ways. Some will celebrate. They will be genuinely happy for you, genuinely excited about what they see happening in your life. These are the people whose hearts are aligned with mine, and they will become your companions on this new journey. Cherish them, honor them, keep them close. Others will be confused. They had you figured out. They had you categorized. They knew what to expect from you, and your transformation disrupts their understanding. Give them grace, give them time. Some of them will come around once they see that the change is real and lasting. Their confusion is not hostility. It is simply the natural response to witnessing something they do not yet understand. And some, I must tell you truthfully, will be uncomfortable with your transformation. Not because it threatens them directly, but because it challenges them indirectly. Your change reminds them of the changes they have been avoiding in their own lives. Your growth highlights the areas where they have remained stagnant. Your faith exposes their own lack of faith. This is not your fault, and it is not your problem to fix. Love them, pray for them, but do not let their discomfort slow down what I am doing in you. Your transformation is too important to be held hostage by someone else's insecurity. I have seen this pattern play out so many times. Someone begins to change, to grow, to rise, and the people around them start pulling at them, trying to keep them at the same level. Not always with malicious intent. Sometimes it comes from a place of fear. Fear of being left behind, fear of losing the connection, fear of being outgrown, and I understand those fears. But I also know that the best thing you can do for the people who are struggling with your transformation is to keep transforming. Because your growth does not diminish them. It inspires them. It shows them what is possible. It lights a path that they can follow when they are ready. And many of them will eventually follow. But they need you to go first. They need you to be the brave one. They need you to demonstrate that change is possible, that growth is real, that a different life is available. So do not shrink back. Do not dim your light. Do not downplay what I am doing in you to make others comfortable. Shine, rise, transform, and trust me to handle the relational dynamics that come with your elevation. As you walk forward into this new season, you will need to develop new habits of thinking. The old patterns of thought that served you in your old season will not serve you in your new one. Where you once thought small, you must begin thinking expansively. Where you once expected failure, you must begin expecting favor. Where you once spoke limitation over your life, you must begin speaking possibility. Where you once focused on what you lack, you must begin focusing on what I am providing. This is not positive thinking in the secular sense. This is aligned thinking. It is thinking that is aligned with my promises, my character, and my plans for you. And when your thinking aligns with my truth, reality has no choice but to follow. I also want to address something that many people do not talk about regarding transformation. Something that is important for you to hear so that you are not caught off guard. It can be disorienting. When everything you know starts to change, there can be moments of vertigo, moments when you feel unsteady because the familiar ground is shifting beneath your feet. This is normal. This is expected. And this is temporary. The disorientation will pass as you establish new normals. The unfamiliarity will become familiar. The strange will become comfortable. The new will become normal. The uncertainty will become confidence. You are simply adjusting to a new altitude. Like a traveler who reaches a higher elevation and needs time to acclimate, you are ascending to a higher level of living, and your body, mind, and spirit need a little time to adjust. But they will adjust. And when they do, You will wonder how you ever lived at the lower elevation. Let me speak now about the depth of my love for you, because every transformation I perform is rooted in love. I am not changing you because you are broken and I find you unacceptable. I am changing you because I love you too much to leave you where you are, when I can see the incredible place I am taking you. I am not improving you because you were defective. I am elevating you because you were designed for heights you have not yet reached. My love is the engine behind every change, every shift, every breakthrough, every restoration. When you see the transformation in your life, you are seeing my love made visible. When you experience the breakthrough, you are experiencing my love made tangible. When you walk in your new purpose, you are walking in my love made practical. And my love for you, the love that fuels this entire transformation, is not conditional. Let me repeat that because I know how foreign that concept is to you after living in a world that makes everything conditional. My love for you is not conditional. It is not based on your performance. It is not earned by your good behavior or forfeited by your mistakes. It is constant, unchanging, relentless, pursuing, overwhelming. It was there before you knew me. It will be there after everything else fades away. And right now, it is the force that is pushing through every barrier, demolishing every wall, and clearing every obstacle that stands between you and the fullness of what I have prepared. I created you with such intentionality. Every aspect of who you are, your personality, your temperament, your gifts, your passions, your sensitivities, your strengths, even the things you consider weaknesses, all of it was designed with purpose. I did not make a single mistake when I formed you. Not one. The things about yourself that you wish you could change, many of them are the very things I'm going to use most powerfully in your new season. The sensitivity you have tried to suppress is going to become your greatest tool for serving others. The analytical mind that sometimes keeps you up processing is going to become a gift of wisdom that guides others. The passionate heart that has sometimes led you into trouble is going to become a fire that ignites hope wherever you go. I do not make mistakes. I make masterpieces. And you are one of them. Let me say that with even more emphasis because I need it to penetrate the layers of self-doubt that have built up over the years. You are a masterpiece, not a rough draft, not a work in progress that might turn out okay if I am lucky. A masterpiece. The kind of creation that causes the creator to step back and smile. The kind of work that carries beauty not just in its finished form, but in its very design, in its conception, in its DNA. I knew exactly what I was doing when I made you. I chose your personality traits with the same precision that a jeweler uses to cut a diamond. I selected your gifts with the same intentionality that an architect uses to design a cathedral. I wove your experiences together with the same artistry that a master weaver uses to create a tapestry. Every thread has a purpose. Every color has a meaning. Every pattern has a significance. And the full picture, the complete tapestry of your life, is something that would move you to tears if you could see it the way I see it. The world has tried to tell you that you are ordinary, that you are common, that you are replaceable, that there is nothing particularly special about you that could not be found in 1,000 other people. But the world is wrong. Completely, utterly, hopelessly wrong. There has never been and will never be another you. The specific combination of gifts, experiences, perspectives, passions, and qualities that make up who you are has never existed before in all of human history and will never exist again. You are not a copy. You are not a variation. You are a completely original creation. And the transformation I am bringing is going to reveal that originality in ways that will make you stand out, not through self-promotion, but through the sheer undeniability of who you are when you are fully aligned with who I designed you to be. As this transformation continues to unfold, I want you to document it, not because I need a record, but because you do. Write down what happens. Keep track of the changes. Note the doors that open, the connections that form, the prayers that get answered, the impossible things that become possible. Because there will come a day, far in the future, when your faith is tested again, There always is. And on that day, you will need to look back at this season and remember what I did. You will need concrete evidence of my faithfulness to fortify your faith. The documentation of your transformation becomes a weapon for your future battles. It becomes a testimony that strengthens you when doubt tries to creep back in. It becomes a legacy document that your children and grandchildren can read and know, beyond any shadow of doubt, that I am real, I am faithful, and I keep my promises. Let me now speak to the dreamers. Some of you have been carrying dreams that you locked away long ago. Dreams that once burned bright but were dimmed by disappointment and delay. Dreams that you were too afraid to speak out loud because you had been hurt too many times by hoping for things that never materialized. I want you to go back and find those dreams. Dust them off. Hold them up to the light. Because many of those dreams were not just wishes from your own heart. They were whispers from mine. I placed those desires in you for a reason. They were blueprints of the future I intended for you. And the fact that they have not manifested yet does not mean they were false. It means the timing was not right. But now it is. Now the ground is prepared. Now the conditions are favorable. Now you have been shaped and refined and positioned to receive the fulfillment of dreams that are older than your memory. Dream again. I am giving you permission. More than permission, I am giving you a command. Dream again. I know that dreaming feels risky. I know that the last time you dared to dream, the disappointment when it did not happen nearly destroyed you. I know that you protected yourself by lowering your expectations, by telling yourself that wanting less meant hurting less. And in a way, it did. But it also meant living less. Because when you stop dreaming, you stop reaching. When you stop reaching, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying, not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, creatively. The part of you that dreams is the part of you that is most alive. And I'm bringing that part back to life right now. So dream again, and dream bigger than before. Because the version of the dream you had back then was limited by the smallness of your vision at that time. But you have grown since then. Your capacity has expanded. Your faith has deepened. Your understanding of who I am has broadened. And so the dream needs to be updated to match who you have become. Take the seed of the original dream and plant it in the rich soil of your transformed faith, and watch what grows. It will be something more beautiful, more expansive, more impactful than anything you could have imagined when the dream was first born. I am speaking new things into existence over your life, things that have never been, things that eyes have not seen, and ears have not heard, and minds have not conceived. Things that are so far beyond your current reality that if I told you everything right now, you would not be able to process it. So I am revealing it to you gradually, layer by layer, step by step, one revelation at a time, each one building on the last, each one preparing you for the next. And as the picture becomes clearer and clearer, you will begin to understand the full scope of what I have been planning, and it will take your breath away. The transformation in your professional life is going to be remarkable. I am giving you ideas that will open doors, strategies that will create opportunities, wisdom that will distinguish you from your peers, favor that will cause the right people to notice you at the right time. You are going to step into rooms you never thought you would enter. You are going to sit at tables you never thought you would be invited to. You are going to influence decisions you never thought you would be part of. Not because of your own brilliance, although I have given you plenty of that, but because my hand is upon you. And when my hand is upon someone, doors open that no human being can shut. Let me go even deeper into what this professional transformation looks like, because I want you to see it clearly. The ideas I'm going to give you are not just good ideas. They are God ideas. There is a difference. Good ideas can produce temporary results. God ideas produce permanent transformation. Good ideas might give you a living. God ideas give you a legacy. The strategies I am downloading into your spirit in this season are the kind that will position you not just for personal success, but for generational impact. You are going to create things that outlast you. You are going to build systems that benefit others long after you have moved on. You are going to establish patterns of excellence and integrity and generosity in your professional life that become the standard for everyone who follows in your footsteps. This is not just about making money, although money will come. This is about fulfilling the professional calling that has been embedded in your life since before you were born. And that calling is about to come into sharp focus. What is unfolding in your family is going to be equally profound. I am healing rifts that have existed for years. I am softening hearts that have been hardened by bitterness and misunderstanding. I am restoring communication where silence has been the norm. I am bringing reconciliation where division has reigned. Children who wandered are turning their hearts back toward home. Distant spouses are rediscovering the love that first brought them together. Parents who seemed unreachable are opening up in ways that defy explanation. The transformation in your life is creating a gravitational pull that draws your entire family toward healing. You did not have to fix everyone. You just had to let me work in you. And from your wholeness, wholeness is spreading. The transformation in your spiritual life is going to be the most profound of all. Your relationship with me is about to enter a depth that you have never known. You are going to hear my voice with clarity that startles you. You are going to feel my presence with an intensity that moves you to tears. You are going to understand my word with a richness that makes old familiar passages feel brand new. Prayer is going to shift from an obligation to a passion. Worship is going to shift from a practice to a lifestyle. Faith is going to shift from something you exercise occasionally to the very air you breathe. You and I are about to become closer than you ever thought possible. And from that closeness, everything else in your life will derive its power, its direction, and its purpose. I want to linger on this point about our relationship for a moment, because it is the most important thing I will say to you in this entire message. Everything else, the financial breakthrough, the relational healing, the professional advancement, the health restoration, all of it flows from this one source: your closeness with me. When you are close to me, you have access to everything I am and everything I have. When you are distant from me, even the blessings I send struggle to find their way to you, because the channel through which they flow has been narrowed by distance. So above all else, above every other change and every other transformation, pursue closeness with me. Make it the priority. Make it the non-negotiable. Everything else will fall into place when this one thing is in its rightful position. I am not talking about religious performance. I am not talking about checking boxes on a spiritual to-do list. I am talking about genuine, heartfelt, vulnerable connection. The kind where you tell me what you are really feeling, not what you think you should be feeling. The kind where you bring me your doubts instead of hiding them. The kind where you sit in silence with me and let the silence speak louder than words. The kind of closeness that transforms prayer from a monologue into a dialogue, from a request list into a conversation, from an obligation into the highlight of your day. That level of closeness, that deep, rich, life-transforming intimacy with the Creator of the universe is available to you. It has always been available to you. And in this new season, you are going to discover it in a way that changes everything. I want to say something about courage, because the transformation ahead of you will require it. Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite fear. There will be moments when the next step feels enormous. Moments when the risk seems too great. Moments when the familiar pulls you backward toward the comfort of the known. In those moments, remember this: I go before you. I am already at the destination. I have already surveyed the terrain. I have already removed the dangers. I have already prepared the way. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into what I have already made known to myself. And if I am telling you to move forward, it is because I have made sure that forward is safe. Courage does not mean you will not feel fear. Courage means you will feel the fear and take the step anyway, because you trust the one who told you to take it. And I am telling you to take it. Step forward. Step into the transformation. Step into the new season. Step into the unfamiliar territory of blessing and purpose and influence. Step into the version of yourself that I have been designing since before you were born. It is waiting for you. and I am waiting for you there. Let me tell you something about the specific courage that this season requires. It is not the courage of the warrior charging into battle, although there may be moments for that. It is the quieter, more sustained courage of the settler building a home in new territory. It is the courage to unpack your bags and commit to the new place I am taking you, even when part of you still longs for the familiar. It is the courage to plant trees whose shade you may never sit in, because you know that future generations will need that shade. It is the courage to invest in relationships that are not yet proven, because you trust that I brought those people into your life for a reason. It is the courage to speak truth when it would be easier to stay silent. It is the courage to be vulnerable when it would be safer to keep your walls up. It is the courage to be fully, authentically, unapologetically yourself in a world that rewards conformity. This is the courage of transformation. And it is not something you have to manufacture on your own. I will supply it. Every time you need it, I will place it in your heart. All you have to do is receive it and act on it. Every step you take on this new path is a step toward the fullness of your destiny. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, creates momentum. Every choice to trust me over your circumstances builds muscle in your faith. And every time you choose courage over comfort, you prove that the transformation taking place inside you is genuine. You are not just hearing words, you are being changed. And the evidence of that change will be visible to everyone around you. I want to celebrate you for a moment. Not for what you are becoming, but for what you already are. Right now, in this moment, with all of your imperfections and uncertainties and struggles, you are magnificent. You are a child of the Creator of the universe. You carry divine DNA. You have been marked by my love, sealed by my spirit, and destined for greatness. Not the world's version of greatness, which is measured by wealth and fame and power. My version of greatness, which is measured by love and faithfulness and obedience, and the willingness to serve others with the gifts you have been given. You are already great. The transformation I am bringing is not making you great. It is revealing the greatness that has always been there. Like a sculptor who chips away at stone to reveal the figure that was always inside, I am removing the things that have obscured your greatness. The fear, the doubt, the shame, the insecurity, the past, the pain. And the true you is emerging. Beautiful, strong, radiant, purposeful, alive. Fully alive in a way that you have not felt in years, maybe ever. I want you to walk forward with your head held high. Not in arrogance, but in the quiet confidence of knowing who you belong to and where you are going. The road ahead of you is not without challenges. I will not lie to you about that. There will be obstacles. There will be moments that test your resolve. There will be days when the old doubts try to resurface and the old fears try to reclaim territory. But you are not the same person you were when those challenges last defeated you. You are transformed. You are equipped. You are empowered. And you have me walking beside you every step of the way. Nothing that is coming against you can succeed. I want you to carry that truth like a shield. Engrave it on your heart. Write it on the doorposts of your mind. Nothing that is coming against you can succeed. Not because problems will not arise, they will. Not because opposition will not come, it will. Not because challenges will not present themselves, they absolutely will. But because I have already determined the outcome. Setbacks may occur, but they are temporary interruptions in a permanent trajectory of blessing. Difficult days may come, but they are building materials for the testimony that will inspire generations. You are protected, surrounded, covered, guarded on every side by a love that is fiercer than any threat and a power that is greater than any opposition. Not because you are invincible in your own strength, you are not, and pretending otherwise would be foolish. But because my hand is upon you, and my hand never loses its grip. I have held you through every storm you have already faced, and not once did I falter. Not once did I hesitate. Not once did my grip even loosen. And the storms ahead, whatever they may look like, will find the same unwavering grip holding you, supporting you, steadying you. You are safe in my hands, and there is no safer place in all of existence. I want to talk about what happens when the transformation becomes visible to the world around you, because there is a moment coming when the change in you will no longer be something only you can sense internally. It will break the surface. It will become undeniable. And when that happens, watch how the atmosphere around you shifts. Watch how conversations change. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how relationships realign. Watch how doors that were closed suddenly swing wide open. Watch how the very people who doubted you, who questioned you, who wrote you off, who said you would never amount to anything, begin to seek your counsel. Watch how the systems that seemed designed to hold you back suddenly begin to work in your favor. This is what happens when heaven decides to showcase what it can do through a willing vessel. And you are that willing vessel. The world needs your transformation. Let me say that again, because it is important. The world needs your transformation, not because the world revolves around you, but because the world is full of people who have lost hope, who have stopped believing that change is possible, who have accepted their circumstances as permanent, who have given up on the idea that God still intervenes in human lives. Your transformation is going to be the evidence that shatters all of those lies. When they see what I have done in you, belief will be reignited, hope will be restored, faith will be rekindled. Your life is going to become a living, breathing, walking, talking testimony of my goodness, my power, and my faithfulness. And this testimony will not be limited to your generation. The impact of what I am doing in your life will reverberate through time. Your grandchildren will grow up hearing stories of this season. They will know that there was a specific point in their family history when everything pivoted, when the trajectory changed, when the blessing line was established, when the spiritual atmosphere of the family was permanently altered, and they will trace it back to you, to this season, to this moment when you chose to believe that I was doing something historic in your life. I also want to talk about stewardship, because with great transformation comes great responsibility. The blessing I am releasing into your life is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to flow. The wisdom I am giving you is not meant to be kept to yourself. It is meant to be shared. The influence I am expanding is not for your ego. It is for my purposes. And the testimony I am creating through your transformation is not a trophy for your mantle. It is a beacon for the lost, a lifeline for the drowning, and a signifier for those who are still wandering in the dark. I am entrusting you with much because I know you can be trusted. I have watched you in the small things, and you have been faithful. I have tested you in private, and you have passed. I have seen how you handle setbacks, and I am impressed by your resilience. I have observed how you treat people who can do nothing for you, and I am moved by your kindness. You are ready for more, and more is coming. But remember this: the more I give, the more I expect to flow through you to others. Generosity is not just financial. It is also emotional, relational, spiritual. Be generous with your time. Be generous with your encouragement. Be generous with your prayers. Be generous with your testimony. Let the overflow of your blessing become the provision for someone else's need. This is how the kingdom works. What flows in must flow out. And what flows out creates space for even more to flow in. It is a cycle of abundance that never ends, as long as the vessel remains open and willing. I want to be very specific about what generous stewardship looks like in your new season. It looks like mentoring someone younger who reminds you of yourself at that age. It looks like using your platform, whatever size it may be, to amplify voices that need to be heard. It looks like opening doors for others the way I opened doors for you. It looks like sharing the wisdom you gained through your struggles, so that others can navigate similar challenges more effectively. It looks like praying for people who are in the season you just came out of, because you know exactly what they need, because you lived it. It looks like being present, really present, for the people in your life who are hurting, because your healed heart now has the capacity to hold their pain without being crushed by it. This is what I mean by stewardship. It is not just about resources. It is about everything I have poured into you being poured out for others. And when you live this way, when you become a channel rather than a reservoir, the blessings do not just maintain their level, they increase. Because I always fill a channel to overflowing. I always replenish what is given away. And I always honor the heart that gives. Let me speak to you about perseverance for a moment, because even in the midst of transformation, there will be days that require perseverance. Not every day of your new season will feel new. There will be ordinary days mixed in with the extraordinary ones. There will be mundane moments nested between the miraculous ones. And the temptation will be to think on those ordinary days that the transformation has stalled, that the momentum has died, that the breakthrough was temporary. But I want to assure you right now, in advance, that this is not the case. Transformation is not a straight line of constant increase. It is a journey with peaks and valleys, sprints and rests, dramatic leaps and steady walks. And all of it is necessary. The ordinary days are when the roots grow deeper. The quiet moments are when the foundation solidifies. The resting periods are when the muscles recover and prepare for the next stretch of growth. So when those ordinary days come, and they will, do not panic. Do not despair. Do not conclude that I have abandoned the project. I am still at work. I never stop working. Even when you cannot see it. Even when you cannot feel it. Even when every natural indicator suggests that nothing is happening. I am always working. And the results of my work will always, eventually break the surface and become visible. Your job is to remain faithful in the ordinary, so that you are ready for the extraordinary. Think of it this way. An athlete does not become a champion only on the day of the competition. An athlete becomes a champion through thousands of ordinary training days, through repetitive drills, through unglamorous practice sessions that no one applauds and no one records. The championship moment is simply the public revelation of what was built in private. And your life works the same way. The extraordinary moments that are coming are being built right now through your ordinary faithfulness, through your daily decision to trust me, through your consistent choice to pray even when prayer feels like talking to the ceiling, through your persistent commitment to do the right thing even when the wrong thing would be easier. These ordinary acts of faith are the training ground for the extraordinary future I have planned. So do not despise the ordinary days. Your job is to keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting, keep obeying, even when the scenery does not seem to be changing. Because beneath the surface, everything is changing, and the day is coming when the underground work becomes above-ground reality. I want to give you a vision of your future, not every detail, because some things are meant to be revealed in their proper time, but enough to give you something to anchor your hope to, enough to give you a picture that you can hold in your heart when the road gets difficult. In your future, I see peace. Not the temporary peace that comes from the absence of problems, but the deep, abiding, unshakable peace that comes from knowing that you are held by someone who is bigger than every problem. The kind of peace that allows you to sleep soundly, even in the midst of uncertainty. The kind of peace that keeps your heart rate steady, even when everyone around you is panicking. The kind of peace that becomes your defining characteristic, so that people are drawn to you simply because of the calm that radiates from your life. That peace is coming. It is part of the transformation, and it is going to change the way you experience every single day. Because when peace is your foundation, the storms of life do not disappear, but they lose their power to destroy you. They become surface disturbances over a deep, calm ocean. The waves may rock the boat, but they cannot capsize it. And that security, that unshakable groundedness, is going to be yours. In your future, I see joy. Not the surface-level happiness that depends on circumstances going well, but the deep wellspring of joy that bubbles up from a soul that knows it is loved, knows it is purposed, knows it is heading somewhere beautiful. The kind of joy that makes you laugh for no apparent reason. The kind of joy that makes you grateful for things you used to take for granted. The kind of joy that is contagious, spreading from your life to everyone who comes into contact with you. That joy is coming. It is part of the transformation, and it will be the kind of joy that does not need external validation to sustain itself. It wells up from an internal spring that never dries up, because it is connected to the infinite source of all joy, which is me. People will look at you and wonder how you can be so full of life in the midst of circumstances that would drain anyone else. And the answer will be simple. You are connected to a source that never runs out. The influence ahead of you is extraordinary. Not the self-serving kind that seeks to control others, but the kingdom kind that seeks to bless and empower and uplift. You are going to have a voice that carries weight. You are going to have a platform, whether large or small, from which my love flows to others. You are going to be positioned to make decisions that affect not just your own life, but the lives of many. And the wisdom I am placing in you will ensure that every decision you make from that position of influence brings glory to my name and blessing to those around you. That influence is coming. It is part of the transformation. And it will not be the kind of influence that corrupts, because it will be anchored in humility and service. The more influence I give you, the more servant-hearted you will become, because true spiritual influence always works that way. It elevates others, not just the one who carries it. Provision is also written into the future I have prepared for you. Abundant, overflowing, more than enough provision. Not just for your needs, but for your desires, for your generosity, for your legacy. Financial resources flowing to you from expected and unexpected sources. Doors of opportunity opening that lead to prosperity you never imagined possible. The ability to bless others financially, to support causes that align with my heart, to leave an inheritance for your children and your children's children. That provision is coming. It is part of the transformation. Health belongs to the future I have planned for you. Vitality, energy, strength. A body that functions the way it was designed to function. A mind that is sharp and clear and focused. Emotions that are balanced and stable and life-giving. Wholeness in every dimension of your being. That health is coming. It is part of the transformation. The relational landscape of what lies ahead is one of deep, meaningful, life-giving connections. A circle of friends who know you, really know you, and love you anyway. A family dynamic that is characterized by love, respect, communication, and mutual support. A community of believers who do life together, who carry each other's burdens, who celebrate each other's victories, who sharpen each other's faith. Those relationships are coming. They are part of the transformation, and they will be unlike anything you have experienced before, because these relationships will be built on a foundation of mutual transformation. They will be connections between people who are all in the process of becoming who I designed them to be. And there is nothing more powerful, nothing more life-giving, nothing more enriching than being in relationship with people who are actively growing and actively encouraging your growth. And while we are on the subject of relationships, let me also speak about your relationship with yourself, because this is an area of transformation that many people overlook, but that I consider absolutely essential. The way you talk to yourself is about to change. The internal dialogue that has been running on a loop of criticism and doubt and self-punishment is being replaced with a new soundtrack. A soundtrack of grace, a soundtrack of truth, a soundtrack of encouragement. You are going to learn to speak to yourself the way I speak to you, with kindness, with patience, with belief, with love. And when your internal voice aligns with my voice, the transformation accelerates dramatically, because the biggest obstacle to your change has never been your circumstances. It has been the way you spoke about yourself within those circumstances. Change the internal conversation, and you change everything. And in your future, I see purpose fulfilled. The thing you were born to do, the reason I placed you on this earth, fully realized and fully operational. You are going to look at your life and say, this is it. This is what I was made for. This is why everything happened the way it did. It was all leading to this. And in that moment of recognition, in that moment of alignment between your calling and your living, you are going to experience a satisfaction so deep, so complete, so all-encompassing, that it will bring tears to your eyes. Tears of gratitude, tears of wonder, tears of pure, unadulterated joy at the realization that the God of the universe cared enough about you to plan something this beautiful, this personal, this perfect. That is your future. I want you to sit with that picture for a moment. Really let it paint itself on the canvas of your imagination. See the peace. Feel the joy. Sense the influence. Touch the provision. Experience the health. Embrace the relationships. Walk in the purpose. This is not fantasy. This is prophecy. This is the declaration of the one who holds your future in his hands and has the power and the will to make every word come true. I am not describing a possibility. I am describing a certainty, not because your circumstances guarantee it, but because my character guarantees it. I am faithful. I keep my promises. And I have promised you a future that is good, a future that is full, a future that is overflowing with everything your heart has ever needed and many things it has not yet dared to hope for. And it is closer than you think. Not because I am putting it on a timeline that can be measured in days or weeks, but because the groundwork is already done. The preparation is complete. The conditions are right. And the transformation that carries you into that future has already begun. You are already on the path. You are already moving in the right direction. Every step you take from this point forward is a step closer to everything I just described. And every step is guided. You are not stumbling toward your future in the dark. You are being led by someone who can see perfectly in every condition, who knows every obstacle before you reach it, who has prepared every provision before you need it, and who loves you too much to let you wander off course. My guidance is gentle but persistent. Sometimes it comes as a quiet nudge in your spirit. Sometimes it comes as a strong conviction in your heart. Sometimes it comes through the words of another person I have strategically placed in your life. Sometimes it comes through circumstances that redirect your path in ways you did not expect. But it always comes. I never leave you to figure things out alone. I am always guiding, always leading, always directing your steps toward the beautiful destination I have prepared. I want to pause here and speak to something that has been sitting in the back of your mind as you have been listening. A small but persistent whisper that says, "This sounds too good to be true." I want to address that directly, because I understand where it comes from. Life has taught you to be cautious with hope. Experience has trained you to protect yourself from disappointment by keeping your expectations low. And there is a rational part of your brain that is listening to everything I am saying and running it through a filter of, "But what if it does not happen?" Let me speak to that rational part of you. Not to silence it, but to inform it. Your caution is understandable, but it is based on incomplete data. Your rational mind is extrapolating from past experiences and concluding that the future will look like the past. But your rational mind does not have access to all the variables. It does not know what I know. It does not see what I see. It cannot calculate what I have already set in motion. And if your rational mind had access to the full picture, if it could see the moves I have already made, the doors I have already opened, the hearts I have already prepared, the resources I have already allocated, it would not be cautious. It would be ecstatic. It would be celebrating. It would be dancing. Because the evidence, the full evidence, overwhelmingly supports the conclusion that what I am describing is not too good to be true. It is exactly as good as what is true. My truth. And my truth is better than your best imagination. I understand the tension between faith and reason, but they are not enemies. They are partners. Reason tells you what is possible based on what has been. Faith tells you what is possible based on what I have said. And when what I have said contradicts what has been, faith takes precedence. Not because reason is wrong, but because reason is limited. It can only work with the information it has. And it does not have all the information. I do. And I am telling you, with all the information in the universe at my disposal, that what is coming for you is real. It is good. And it is closer than your rational mind would dare to believe. So let the caution go. Not recklessly, but deliberately. Choose to believe. Choose to hope. Choose to expect good things. Not because you are naive, but because you serve a God who has never once failed to keep a promise. and I am not about to start failing now. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with expectation. Walk forward with the unshakable knowledge that the best chapters of your story are not in the past. They are in the future. And the author of your story, the one who began it and will complete it, is the same God who is speaking to you right now. And I am telling you, with all the authority of heaven behind my words, that what is coming for you is beyond anything you have dared to imagine. Your level of life is about to change forever, not temporarily, forever. Your influence is about to extend beyond anything you thought was possible. Your testimony is going to be so powerful that it inspires thousands. What I do in you is going to be an example for others. Future generations are going to talk about this season in your life. Your children and grandchildren are going to say, everything changed in that season. Everything shifted. Everything became new. Because I make all things new. That is not just what I do. That is who I am. Newness is in my nature. Transformation is in my character. Restoration is in my DNA. When I look at a life that has been beaten down by circumstances and scarred by disappointment and limited by fear, I do not see a lost cause. I see raw material. I see potential. I see the masterpiece hiding beneath the mess. And I get to work. With patience and love and power and precision, I get to work. And the results speak for themselves. Every testimony ever told about my goodness is evidence of my nature as the God who makes all things new. And your testimony is about to be added to that collection. Your story is about to become one of the most compelling pieces of evidence that I am alive, I am active, and I am faithful. And when I act in extraordinary ways. Not ordinary, not expected, not predictable, not safe, not manageable, not controllable, extraordinary, breathtaking, mind-bending, heart-stopping, life-altering, in ways that leave people speechless, in ways that defy logic, in ways that can only be explained by the hand of God. And I am acting that way in your life, right now, in this very moment. Even as these words settle into your spirit, the transformation is accelerating. Even as you breathe in and breathe out, something is shifting in the unseen realm that governs your reality. Even as doubt tries to whisper one more objection, my power is silencing it with the thunder of what is already done. You cannot stop this. The enemy cannot stop this. Circumstances cannot stop this. Your own mistakes cannot stop this. Because what I have started, I will finish. Not partway, not approximately, not close enough. I will finish it completely and perfectly and exactly as I intended from the very beginning. And the finishing will be glorious. So glorious that words will fail to capture it. So glorious that it can only be experienced to be understood. And you are about to experience it. I want to tell you one more thing about the nature of this historic transformation. And I want you to carry it with you from this moment forward. The change that is happening in your life is not fragile. It is not something that can be undone by a bad day or a weak moment or a temporary setback. What I build to last. When I transform a life, the transformation holds. It endures. It persists. Not because you are strong enough to maintain it, but because I am strong enough to sustain it. My power is the guarantee. My faithfulness is the insurance. My love is the anchor. And none of those things can be shaken, removed, or overcome by any force in existence. So when the doubts come, and they will, when the old fears knock on the door of your mind, and they will, when circumstances arise that seem to contradict everything I have told you, and they will, remember this. What I have set in motion cannot be stopped. What I have declared cannot be revoked. What I have begun will be completed, and the completion will be so thorough, so beautiful, so undeniably the work of my hand, that it will stand as a permanent monument to my goodness in your life. Carry that certainty into every room you enter, every conversation you have, every decision you face. I am not going back on this. I am not changing my mind. I am not losing interest. I am fully committed to your transformation, and I will see it through to the end. Because that is who I am. I am the God who finishes what he starts. And I have started something in you that will not stop until it reaches its full expression. Prepare yourself for what is coming. Prepare yourself to become a reference point for success. Prepare yourself to impact your community, your region, your world. Prepare yourself to be used by me in ways that exceed your wildest expectations. Prepare yourself to carry a level of blessing that you have never carried before. Prepare yourself to be overwhelmed by my goodness in ways that make your current understanding of goodness seem small. Prepare yourself to receive answers to prayers you stopped praying because you thought I was not listening. I was listening. I heard every word. And the answers are on their way. Prepare yourself to steward a level of influence that you have never operated in before. Prepare yourself to walk in a level of purpose that makes every previous season look like preparation, because that is exactly what it was. Every difficult day was preparation. Every confusing season was preparation. Every closed door was preparation. Every tear was preparation. And now the preparation is complete. The real thing is here. The main event has arrived, and you are ready for it. I believe in you, not because of what you have accomplished, although I celebrate every accomplishment. I believe in you because of what I placed in you before you accomplished anything. I believe in the seed I planted. I believe in the design I created. I believe in the potential I embedded. And I believe in the transformation that is making all of it visible. My belief in you is not conditional. It does not depend on your next performance, or your next decision, or your next test of faith. I believed in you before you believed in yourself. I believed in you when the world counted you out. I believed in you when you counted yourself out. And I will keep believing in you long after every other voice has gone silent. My belief in you is as constant as my love for you. It does not waver. It does not diminish. It does not take breaks. It is the steady, unwavering confidence of a father who knows exactly what his child is capable of because he is the one who placed that capability within them. Let my belief in you become the foundation for your belief in yourself. When you struggle to see your own value, borrow my eyes. When you struggle to believe in your own potential, borrow my faith. When you cannot imagine a future different from your past, borrow my vision. I see further than you can see. I know more than you can know. And what I see when I look at you and what I know about your future fills me with such anticipation, such excitement, such joy that I can barely contain it. Your future is stunning. More stunning than the most beautiful landscape you have ever seen. More breathtaking than the most magnificent work of art you have ever witnessed. More satisfying than the deepest longing of your heart. It is a future that I designed specifically for you, with every detail reflecting my intimate knowledge of who you are and what brings you the deepest joy. And you are going to live every beautiful moment of it, not as a spectator watching from the sidelines, but as the main character walking boldly into the destiny I prepared. You are about to step into something extraordinary, something the world will notice. Something that cannot be explained away by luck or coincidence or hard work alone. Something that bears the unmistakable fingerprint of divine intervention. You are about to experience the kind of change that redefines everything. You are about to become a living testimony of what happens when a life is fully surrendered to the purposes of God. And I am with you, every single step of the way. I am with you in the uncertainty. My presence surrounds you in the transition. My hand steadies you in the disorientation of the new. I am with you in the challenges that will come. My joy celebrates with you in the victories that will follow. My faithfulness covers you in the ordinary days and the extraordinary ones. I am with you when you feel strong and when you feel weak. My strength upholds you when you are confident and when you are afraid. I am with you in every circumstance, in every season, in every challenge, in every victory, in every moment of doubt and every moment of certainty, always, forever, without exception, without condition, without reservation, without end. I want to leave you with one final image. Think about a caterpillar entering its cocoon. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. The cocoon is still, silent, unremarkable, but inside something extraordinary is taking place. the caterpillar is being completely dismantled. Every cell, every structure, every defining characteristic of its caterpillar identity is being broken down and reassembled into something entirely new. It is not being improved. It is not being upgraded. It is being fundamentally, radically, irreversibly transformed. And when the process is complete, what emerges from the cocoon is so different from what entered it that no one would ever connect the two. The butterfly bears no resemblance to the caterpillar. The creature of the air has no memory of being a creature of the ground. The being of beauty and freedom has transcended the limitations that once defined it. That is you. That is what is happening in your life right now. You entered a cocoon of transformation, and the process has been uncomfortable, confusing, disorienting, and at times painful. But the discomfort was necessary. The breaking down was required, because you cannot become a butterfly while holding on to your caterpillar identity. You cannot fly while clinging to the ground. And the new thing I am creating in you requires the release of the old thing. So let the old thing go. Let the caterpillar die. Let the cocoon do its work. Because what is about to emerge is so magnificent, so free, so alive, so full of beauty and purpose and power that you will look back at your caterpillar days and wonder how you ever lived like that. This is your season of transformation. This is the season you will look back on with awe and gratitude for the rest of your life. This is the season your family will remember. This is the season that will be referenced in prayers of thanksgiving for generations. This is your historic shift. This is the before and after that your life has been building toward. And I am the one making it happen. Not your effort alone. Not your talent alone. Not your connections alone. Me. My power, my love, my plan, my hand upon your life directing every detail toward the beautiful destination I prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Walk into it with everything you have. Receive it with open hands and an open heart. Embrace it without reservation, without qualification, without the self-protective hedging that has become second nature to you. Let it change you from the inside out. Let it reshape your thinking, your believing, your speaking, your living. Let it touch every area, every relationship, every dream, every goal, every fear, every doubt. Let it reach into the corners of your life that you have been afraid to expose. Let it address the issues you have been afraid to confront. Let it heal the wounds you have been afraid to acknowledge. Let it answer the questions you have been afraid to ask. Let the transformation be complete, because I do not do incomplete work. What I start, I finish. And I am finishing something in your life that will leave everyone who witnesses it absolutely speechless with wonder, including you, especially you, because you are going to be the most surprised person of all when you see the completed picture of what I have been working on. And the surprise will be followed by overwhelming gratitude, and the gratitude will be followed by a worship so deep, so genuine, so full of love, that it will be the most authentic response your heart has ever produced. Before I close, let me say this. I want you to take every word I have spoken to you and write it on the walls of your heart. Not just the words that made you feel good, all of them. The words about transformation, the words about legacy, the words about courage, the words about timing, the words about stewardship, the words about perseverance, the words about dreaming again, the words about the completeness of what I am doing. Every single word was chosen with care and spoken with love and backed by the full authority of heaven. They are not empty words. They are living words. They carry the power to accomplish what they describe. They are seeds that, once planted in the soil of your heart, will produce exactly what they promise. So do not let them fall to the ground. Do not let the busyness of life crowd them out. Do not let the voice of doubt snatch them away before they can take root. Guard these words. Meditate on them. Return to them when your faith needs strengthening. Let them become the lens through which you view every circumstance and every challenge that comes your way. You are my precious one. You are the apple of my eye. You are the one I have chosen to demonstrate my power and love to a watching world. And what I am about to do through you in you, and for you, is going to be the greatest story your family has ever told. A story of how everything changed. A story of how the impossible became possible. A story of how a life that was heading in one direction was completely, beautifully, permanently redirected by the hand of God. A story of historic transformation that will be told and retold for generations. A story that will give hope to the hopeless, faith to the faithless, and courage to the fearful. Your story, written by me, starring you, witnessed by generations, celebrated by heaven, and it is only just beginning. The best pages have not been written yet. The best chapters are still ahead, and the ending, when it finally comes, will be more beautiful than anything you could ever write for yourself. Because I am the author, the one who knows every character, every plot twist, every conflict, and every resolution. And I always, without fail, without exception, write the best endings. Endings that satisfy the soul. Endings that make every chapter of struggle worth it. Endings that leave the reader breathless with wonder and overflowing with gratitude. That is the kind of ending I'm writing for you. I love you with a love that knows no end. I believe in you with a confidence that knows no wavering. I am committed to your transformation with a dedication that knows no quitting, no tiring, no losing interest, no getting distracted, and I am walking you into your future with a faithfulness that is never and will never fail. My hand is upon you. My eyes are upon you. My heart is turned toward you. And nothing in all of creation, no power, no force, no circumstance, no person, no obstacle, no fear, no doubt, nothing at all can separate you from my love or derail the transformation I have set in motion. It is done. It is established. It is sealed with my name and backed by my character and guaranteed by my nature. And it is unfolding even as you hear these very words, even as your heart absorbs their truth, even as your spirit receives their power. Amen. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear these words. You never know who might be going through a difficult season and desperately needs to hear that God sees them and is working in their life. Type Amen in the comments to receive this blessing, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss a message from God. He has something new for you every single day, and each message is crafted specifically for the season you are walking through. Share this video, leave a comment, and let the world know that God is still in the business of transforming lives.